Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. Don't miss our post-game show coming up immediately after the Pacers versus Knicks game tonight. Ask your questions on Twitter, we'll answer them live. Let's look at the Bulls defense because nothing impresses me more than a team that can be so dedicated and consistently focused on the fundamentals and the defensive philosophies that Coach Tom Thibodeau is preaching. No middle, ice on the pick and rolls, a terrific rotation across to the ball, and letting teams and letting players who they want to shoot long twos get open twos. It's amazing how well that works. And even in the face of a team that will score on them sometimes, you would think that the defense might give up a little bit or not be dedicated. But the Bulls have steadfastly remained concentrated on these fundamentals, and it keeps them in games no matter who they lose. If you have 5 pros out there and you execute the defensive fundamentals that Tom Thibodeau has preached all season long, you will stay in games and win a lot of games that maybe you shouldn't.
Notice how extreme Teague's positioning is on the ball handler. He will force sideline all the way down court to keep Watson from going to the middle of the floor. Bellinelli stunts from the weak side to help off a terrible three-point shooter and gets the steal. On the skip pass, Bellinelli will close out, and notice how he will simply not let Joe Johnson drive to the middle of the floor. He continues to keep his right foot higher than Johnson's left, forcing a contested three. Watch how Butler does an even better job at no middle without having to be so extreme with his positioning. He keeps in front of Johnson, angles him out of the lane, and pressures the shot beautifully. Watch what happens when you allow middle penetration. You make CJ Watson look like an all-star scoring over 3 people. Ice is when you force the ball handler to the sideline and the screener's man sinks low to contain. This is the opposite of hedging, where the screener's defender would normally come out high to pressure the ball handler. This allows the weak side to slide over and help with only the fear of a skip pass to hurt them. Watch what happens when Robinson gives up middle penetration, a wide open 3 by Wallace. Here's another example of ice without a formal screen set on the ball handler. Noah contains while Robinson forces D. Will towards the baseline. The one thing this gives up is a pick and pop, something the Bulls are happy to give up. Here's another great example of ice. Because the Nets offense is so stagnant, Taj Gibson gets cavalier and doubles the ball in the corner. The weak side defenders are all in perfect position to defend, and Blatz drives right into the teeth of the defense, but the Bulls can't come up with a steal, and Brooks hits a tough shot in the lane. On the high screen and roll, the Bulls' big men stay in the lane to contain penetration, relying on the guards to hustle around the screen and pressure the ball handler. Sometimes the Bulls will rotate onto the roll man as Butler helps one pass away. However, you can see that Butler is shading his help to prevent the pass back to his man and immediately sprints back to get Johnson. Another screen and roll forces Taj Gibson to contain and Bellinelli to help on his man Blatch. Watch how Gibson and Bellinelli switch expertly so as not to have a mismatch down low. Muhammad prevents middle penetration and the Bulls give up a long 2. The Bulls defense also uses the concept of help and recover when your man is one pass away, so they can limit the amount of open shots they give up. Bellinelli comes off his man to help, but with the express intent of getting right back to his man as quickly as possible, contesting this three-pointer into a miss. Here's an example of Nate Robinson overhelping instead of recovering back to his man Gerald Wallace. This should give up a dunk if it weren't for Joakim Noah's incredible effort to protect the rim. Here's another example of no middle defense, even if it means forcing the man to a strong hand. The one shot the Bulls want you to take most often is a mid-range 2-pointer, the least efficient shot on the court. The Bulls also identify the specific players they want shooting long 2s and will sag off of them as much as possible, daring them to make it. This concept helps a poor defender like Carlos Boozer, who can give Humphries 4 feet of room to maneuver before taking a tough shot. Here's a few concepts put together in one possession. Butler positions his feet to deny the middle to Joe Johnson. Noah contains with ice on the pick and roll, and Boozer sort of helps and recovers, but won't do it strenuously because they want Blatz to shoot a long 2. The Bulls' backline of defense works together very well as Boozer and Noah move on a string together to help defend this pin down. Notice how Boozer steps up but also keeps a hand in the passing lane to his man setting the pin down. Now let's get to Noah and how great he is on defense. Watch how much he does in a typical possession. He steps out to help on the pin down, hustles back to his man, then rotates over to help on the Wallace post up. He then steps up to help on the Darren Williams drive, which causes a kick out and a long contested jumper. The Bulls' system fits Noah perfectly, as he can help on the drive and know his teammates have him covered on the weak side. Darren Williams sees Noah and pulls up instead of getting to the hoop, taking another mid-range jumper. Thibodeau is very happy. And there are times when the perimeter defenders can't keep the ball out of the middle. Noah can save their butts with supreme effort and shot blocking ability. Noah devastated Brook Lopez's postgame to the point where the Nets barely tried to get Lopez the ball down low. And here is Bellinelli coming way off his man to contest the Lopez shot, since he wouldn't mind if his man, Gerald Wallace, took another long jumper. Just watch the Bulls' defense in action at its best. Bellinelli keeps Joe Johnson along the sideline, Noah rotates over to help while Butler slides down to help on Lopez. On the swing pass, Butler runs D-Will off the three-point line, and although Bellinelli should have stayed with Joe Johnson in the corner, Butler smartly breaks off from Williams' cut to jump out on Johnson and contest the shot.
So there you have it, sports fans. Defense like that, to me as a coach, is pure poetry in motion. In stark contrast to what the Heat do, which is gamble and get out of position all the time and rely on their athletic ability to recover, the Bulls stay their positions, and even if they get scored on a few times, you can see they will bear down, they will keep their philosophy intact, and execute exactly the way Thibodeau wants them to do it. So this will be an interesting series and a contrast in two styles. The only issue the Bulls have really is that they don't score very well, and against the Heat defense, that's going to be problematic, especially if you don't have home court advantage. Well, stay tuned for lots more coming up. Don't miss our post-game show tonight after the Knicks-Pacers. It'll be great. And don't forget, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?